But first, I would like to honor everyone here that has served in our armed forces. If all those people would please stand up that have served our country. I know that there's many here. Yes. Stay up. Stay up. Stay up. I have something to say to you all. I have something to say to you all. May your body be healed. May your past be healed. And further, you be made new and strong. May you be at peace. And I now honor you, appreciate you, and cherish you. I accept your gift. I appreciate your service. I recognize the divinity in you. I see us at peace. Thank you, and so it is. And if anyone has friends or family that have died in the war or because of it, please stand. Thank you for your gift. We remember your sacrifice. We surround you with prayers of healing and love. And I would like to include all of the people of Manchester, England with that. And so it is. Thank you all for being here on Memorial Day. Our month, we've been exploring the idea of creating a successful life, however you choose to define success. And over the past weeks, we've described it in a variety of ways, but I want to give you yet another way to define it today. And this one comes from one of our New Thought giants, Ralph Waldo Emerson, whom we have just studied in our Roots class with Reverend Franklin. We've read a couple of his essays, and he is one of the most prominent influences of our founder, Ernest Holmes. And Ralph Waldo Emerson said this to describe success. He said, "To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty, to find the best in others, to leave the world a bit better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social condition. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded." How beautifully this quote goes back to one of our first principles of a success, according to Jack Canfield in his book, Success Principles, How to Get from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be, which has been our theme book this month. And that success principle was to be on purpose. And to be on purpose, two factors are important. Anyone remember what those factors are? We have actually addressed both of those factors so far in this service today. They were joy and service. And this Emerson quote just screams joy and service, doesn't it? To laugh often and much. I love that. And when we are on purpose and when we are 100% responsible for our experience, and when we become our own inner coaches, I've just given you a review of the success principles we've already talked about this month, then we are on the road to succeeding or moving toward living, from the Thomas Edison quote that we have been using all month too, which is, if we did all the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. You guys remember that one? Let's say that in the first person. If I did all the things I am capable of, I would literally astound myself. See the potential? Feel the potential within you? Our first success principle for today is to acknowledge your positive past. In Creative Mind and Success, Ernest Holmes wrote, "In order to have success, we must first conceive it in our own thoughts." We must have the idea of success, or what Ernest Holmes calls a mental equivalent. What Thomas Troward in our Roots class calls a spiritual prototype. We must conceive it first in our own thoughts. And a good way to conceive it in our own thoughts is to remember it and consciously acknowledge it, because we've been there before. Now, some of you might say, what positive past? If I ask you to think about one success that you had from the last week, would it come to you easily? How about if I ask you to think about how you messed up last week? Would that come to you a little bit easier? I won't ask you to share those. But they can come to us more readily than our successes. And we tend to be programmed to remember our failures rather than our successes. And Jack Canfield, in his book, explains it this way. He says that as we were growing up, there was always more emotional intensity around our failures, our errors, our mistakes, than there was around our successes. And because the brain more easily remembers events that are accompanied by strong emotions, most people underestimate and underappreciate the number of successes they've had in relation to the number of failures they've had. Does that make sense? Yeah. And the sad truth is, he says, that we all have had more victories than we have failures, but we all have set the bar too high for what we call successes. So we expect too much to be able to call our successes successes. But when we get real about how many successes in life that we've had, and we've had those successes to be sure, each one of us, we set the stage for greater and even greater success. Why is this, you might ask? Well, because it impacts our self-esteem. Success impacts our self-esteem. Jack Canfield calls it the poker chip theory of success. And he describes it like this. Imagine for a moment that you and I are playing a game of poker. Now, you have 10 poker chips, and I have 200 poker chips. Who do you think is going to play more conservatively in the poker game? You are, for sure. If you lose 2 bets of 5 chips, you're out of the game. I can lose 5 chips 40 times during the game and still not be out. I can take more risks because I can afford to take more losses. So your level of self-esteem works the same way. The more self-esteem you have, the more risk you are willing to take. Research has shown over and over again that the more you acknowledge your past successes, the more confident you become in taking on and successfully accomplishing new ones. You know that even if you fail, it won't destroy you because your self-esteem is high. You know that you've got plenty more of it. The more you risk, the more you win in life. The more shots you take, the more chances you have of scoring. You ever watch The Predators? They take a lot of shots, you know. And it's working too. Go Predators. So knowing that you have had success in the past will give you this self-confidence that you can have success in the future. So having said that, Jack Canfield gives us 2 really valuable ways to acknowledge our positive past. And I've passed out some sheets to a lot of you before the service. This is your homework sheet. You don't have to do that now. But this is for you to take home. And I'll just tell you how it works. It's divided into thirds on your page, and you, in each one of these areas of your life, divide your life into 3 sections. And when you get home, just go back in your life and fill in 3 successes for each period of that life. And to really convince yourself, though, that you're a successful person who can continue to be successful, there's a second thing to do. Are you ready for that? Okay. Okay. On the back of that piece of paper I gave you, list 100 more of the successes you've had in your life. 100 more. Don't worry about it. Just do it. You'll be amazed at how you feel after you do it. And remember something that Jack Canfield said, that the sad truth is that we all have more victories than failures. It's just that we set the bar too high for success. So I'll give you a little hint here. I'll get you started with your first 5 successes. The first one is you were born. You learned to sit up. You learned to crawl. You learned to walk. You learned to talk. There you go. There's your first 5. Now to move on, we're going to move on to our next success principle, and that is to practice uncommon appreciation. Not just regular appreciation, but uncommon appreciation. How better to acknowledge your success than to be grateful for where you are and to all of those, including yourself, that helped you get there, to where you are now. Mother Teresa said something that I love this. She said, there is more hunger for love and appreciation in the world than for bread. More hunger for love and appreciation in the world for bread. And I want to say right now that I'm grateful for David Arnholter, our practitioner, who got everything together, paid for our booth at the Galactic Fair the last 3 years, and took it upon himself to do this, to get our message out to this community. And so I appreciate and love you, David. We know that like attracts like. So the more that we're in a state of appreciation and gratitude, the more that we're going to attract to be grateful for. What we appreciate appreciates. When we are appreciating what we have, instead of focusing and complaining about what we don't have, we open ourselves up to receive more good, right? So it becomes an upward spiraling process of greater and greater, ever increasing good in our lives. And it just keeps getting better and better. That's just how it works, and we know that. We just don't always practice it, right? So appreciation is twofold. We must appreciate ourselves, and we must appreciate others. So take the time to appreciate yourself, and take the time to appreciate others. In fact, here's some more homework. I don't piling it on today, right? Okay. Why don't... Well, you have more time to do this homework now. You got the extra day. Okay. What if you set your intention to offer 10 appreciations to others a day? Can you fit that in? Your busy holiday weekend. What if you recorded every time that you appreciate someone and commit to not going to bed until you have offered 10 different appreciations every day? And what if you lived in an attitude of gratitude and appreciation to the source of all, the one life? I wonder what kind of impact that would have on your life. You won't know unless you try it. So live your life in an attitude of appreciation and gratitude and celebrate your successes. That's important. These are two powerful attractors to experiencing the life that you dream of and desire to have. Because as we succeed, we prove the fundamental principle of our Science of Mind teachings. There's a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. God has our back. That power is available to use. In the book, Your Aladdin's Lamp, which is a book about our founder, Ernest Holmes, it's reported that Ernest did a simple prayer treatment for one of his proteges, Bill Hornaday. And Bill Hornaday was the newly installed speaker at the Belmont Theater. And this was right before he did his first speaking at the Belmont Theater. And so they did a spiritual mind treatment, which is what we teach in Science of Mind, an affirmative prayer. And after his short prayer, Ernest said to Bill, he says, "That's good. It's done, Bill. Now go and prove the principle." We invoke our prayer, we bring it forth, and then we go prove the principle. That's what we're doing when we succeed. We're proving the principle. And there's one other thing that we're doing when we succeed, and that is making a difference in the world. Think about the honeybee. Franklin knows all about this. He's a biology expert. Its primary objective is going after nectar to support itself in its hive, right? But it's unknowingly involved in a much bigger purpose. As it flies from flower to flower in search of more nectar, it picks up pollen on its wings and thus ends up cross-pollinating all of the rooted botanicals in the world. It's an unintended byproduct of the bee's nectar-seeking activity. And so it is with us. So it is with you. As you pursue and achieve your success, there will always be unintended byproducts of good. Some of those byproducts you're going to see. Some of them you won't see. But rest assured that you will make a difference because we are one, right? There is no private good. So everything has unintended byproducts of good when we succeed. We're finishing up a lot of success principles today that we didn't get to. Actually, there's 65 success principles in his book, which we didn't get to even a fraction of them. But the next one is to face what isn't working in your life. Just like Trey's song, the blues. They faced what wasn't working and they got rid of their baggage. Remember, bring your baggage here, we'll throw it in the dumpster out back. But facing what isn't working doesn't sound like much fun. But as Aldous Huxley, the writer, once said, facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. Facts do not cease to exist because they are ignored. So, isn't this contradictory to our teachings? We're not supposed to hang out in the space of what we don't want or what's not working in our life, right? We're supposed to hang out in the space of what we want. But Jack Canfield writes this about that. He says, if you're going to become more successful, you have to get out of denial and face what isn't working in your life. Not to dwell in it, but just to face it, acknowledge it, and then deal with it. Do you make excuses for your bad relationship? Are you in denial about your health? Are you failing to acknowledge that sales have been constantly downward for 3 months? Successful people and organizations face these circumstances squarely. They heed the warning signs and take appropriate action, no matter how uncomfortable or challenging those actions might be. They're willing to look at what is and deal with it rather than to hide and deny. So often denial is based on the fact that something even worse is going to happen if we look at it. So we want to look away. But from a spiritual perspective, facing the facts can help catapult us into a new level of success, a new level of beingness. The religious science minister, Reverend Dr. Arthur Chang, he wrote in a Science of Mind magazine article several years ago, he wrote that our problems provide the creative tension necessary to make us go deeper within and find that spring of spirit within us, just as it may appear that we don't have enough to get the job done. I like that a lot. They challenge us to go deeper in spirit, to face them, to deal with them. Let them take us deeper into that source of spirit within us. So Canfield suggests that we make a list of what isn't working in our lives. What if you took an inventory of your life in the 5 key areas of your life? This is more homework. Write it down. You got all weekend, the rest of the weekend to do it. If you took the 5 key areas of your life are your health, your finances, your relationships, your career and creative self, and your spiritual and personal growth. So if there's an area that you want to work on, take an inventory in that. And depending on which one you choose or which ones you choose, you may wish to enlist the help of your family members, friends, colleagues, and just go through this inventory. What is not working? What do I need to do? What action, what steps can I take in this area to get back on that affirmative track in my life? Choose those actions. Choose one action and then do it. Then choose another action and do it until you get the situation resolved. And there's a saying that we have in religious science that you've all heard. Susan Chan has a song about it. Treat and move your feet. Do your affirmative prayer, your spiritual mind treatment, and then take action. This success principle is the move your feet part. And as we say every Sunday, and as Diane said earlier, we have practitioners and ministers available here to support and empower you in all of these challenges. And they bring strong spiritual awareness and prayer to your problems. So use this resource to take care of and to meet those challenges that you have and get the help that you need. Use our practitioners and ministers. They're here to help. So this takes us to our final success principle of the month. Are you guys getting ready to be successful?
We already are.
She must be the minister. The final success principle is start now. Just do it. Oliver Wendell Holmes once said, "Many people die with their music still in them. Why is this so? Too often it is because they are always getting ready to live. Before they know it, time runs out." Boy, that's in your face, isn't it? That is in your face. So let's not be one of those. There's no perfect time to start. Ernest Holmes says in The Science of Mind many times that where you start is right where you are right now. It's the only place you can start from. Don't wait for signs from the universe or for your stars to align or for your astrological chart to give you the go-ahead. Give it to yourself. Begin now. Remember this great quote from Goethe. Whatever you can do or dream you can, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. You and you alone are responsible for taking the actions to create your own success in the life of your dreams. Nobody can do it for you. You have all the talent, all the resources you need to start right now and just do it and create anything that you want. We know you can do it, and the God of your being knows that you can do it, even if you don't think you can. Just do it. And so it is.